Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Bacon. Welcome to the show, y'all. Look here. Tim is in the hole. The investigators are talking to him. They've been through this with him before. He constantly assaults these guys, does all of this stuff to them, and then walks away from it. Nothing ever happens to him. And they're tired of it. They're tired of people like him making the prison experience worse for some of the people in it. Now, don't get me wrong. You got some officers that don't care. And you got some that do. And if they can get them for doing it, they're going to get them. But a lot of situations, meaning the code that you got to live by here and all of those different type of situations, a lot of those situations prevent them from being able to do something about it. You know? See, it's different out on the streets. You can go home. You don't have to worry about people, constantly calling you a rat. You don't have to worry about those different type of situations. In here, you do. And then some people, they will take it upon themselves to hurt you. And you're the victim. So most of the time, people in here would rather just keep their mouth shut, keep their head down, and move on, right? But see, in this situation, Jack, he's sitting in the back. They got to go through all the medical things with him and all this and that. And he's in the back for 6-8 months because he refuses to testify. So they abandon the case. They let it go. Tim gets out. He's back on the compound. He gets back out. He had a write-up for it. He gets back out, which made no sense to everybody, but they put him right back in the same building, same cell. There we go. But they didn't put anybody in the cell with him for a long, long time. A long, long time. So, here comes Jack. It's time for him to get out of the hole. And they're asking him, do you want to go to another prison where people don't know you? Because they'll try to work with him and all this and that. And he was like, no, he wanted to stay at the prison he was at because he was closer to home. And at that particular time, they hadn't put an incompatible. An incompatible is something they'll put against the inmates so that they can't be together. They didn't do that for whatever reason initially. Initially, they didn't do that. Somebody dropped the ball. But anyway, be that as it may. So Jack gets out. And in those 8 or 9 months that he was in the back, the prison experience had changed an awful lot. You started to see this explosion of these young dudes in these gangs. And a lot of the old heads, especially people like Tim, they didn't like that. Because see, a lot of these young guys were clicking up and they were like, ain't none of that going on. And I remember, man, back in the day, when I first came into the penitentiary, they didn't like us because it was a rule against all that type of stuff. You couldn't do that. You couldn't do that and be a part of it. And then if somebody tried to do that to one of ours, oh man, stomp them in the ground. I mean, literally stomp them in the ground. No pity, man. It was no pity in Gangster City. I'm telling you what it is. Really, really was. Ain't nobody playing about things like that. But anyway. So Jack gets out. And it was a young dude that they put him in the cell with. And they had been hearing about what happened and all this and that, right? And at first, they were hard on him, man. They were hard on him. But see, 8 or 9 months in the hole, and after what he had been through, it'll make you hard. It'll turn you into an ice cold human being. And none of the jokes that they would crack bothered him. He was ready to go at the drop of a dime, and he was prepared to defend himself. He had been in the back. The old heads had been teaching him how to box. He hadn't actually boxed with another person, shadow boxing. He was just getting his confidence up. But see, what he didn't know is what the old heads told him. Most people in the penitentiary, they don't know how to fight. I know y'all tripping and thinking, what are you talking about, Joe T? No, most people in here don't know how to fight. They'll shoot you when they on the streets and they got that pistol. You know what I'm saying? Most people in here don't know how to fight, and most people in here don't know how to use a pocket knife. but that's what you'll get hurt with. It's easy to stab somebody that's running away. Now, the stone cold individuals in here, oh, they know how to work their pocket knife and they know how to fight. You feel me? But most people don't. So the idea that Jack was prepared to fight and appeared that he knew how to fight, because they taught him how to stand, they taught him all that, the shadow boxing, and he would do that when he would work out. So people would watch him. See, that's another thing we do in here. We watch you when you're doing stuff like that. We size you up, try to figure out, is it worth the effort if we end up getting in a fight with you? And that's how you decide whether to go fight somebody hand to hand or go get that weapon. So Jack was doing all these things and people were watching. And they were like, well, why didn't he do that when dude got it? And then you have people on the side making excuses for him, say, well, dude jumped him. Dude this, dude that, all this old kind of stuff. Whatever the case is, he started to develop, without him even knowing it, he started to develop people that was for him and a few people that were against him. It didn't matter the ones that were against him. The ones that were for him was the most important, because the ones that were for him was the gang members. Yes, and his seller was a gang member. And his seller told him, man, if you ever want to get your lick back, because his seller didn't like that kind of stuff either. Not at all. And his seller told him, if you ever want to get your lick back, you let me know, man, and we can make it happen. That intrigued Jack, because even though Jack was afraid, definitely afraid of Tim, definitely afraid of him, because he saw something that only assault victims see. What is that, y'all? He saw Tim's true face. You feel me? Now you might be at a movie, you watching a movie and stuff like that, and then they'll start showing faces of demons and all this and that connected to the face of the real person. See, that's what people like that, they present one face to you to get you to relax, accept them, invite them into their house, in your house, and everything is cool and fine. And then when they get ready to attack you, that real face that they show you their fangs, they slavering at the mouth and all this and that, the animal that they are comes out. And see, Tim saw that, and it left an impression on him. It left an impression on him. And that's what happens to assault victims. They see the real face. They don't see the face that everybody sees in the courtroom or everybody sees on the compound. You understand what I'm saying? They see the face when that person is being the monster that they are. You feel me? And it messed with his mind. It messed with his mind. And as much as he wanted to do something to him, he still had that fear of that face, that fear of that monster that he saw. It's like that boogeyman under the bed, y'all, when we were kids. You understand? So when his seller said that to him, like I said, it intrigued him. It made him curious about what is it that they would do to help him. You feel me? Would they have his back, this and that? So that night, he talked to his seller about it. And he told his seller what really happened. From A to Z. He told him how when he first got to the prison, breaking bread together, all this old kind of stuff. He said, man, he told his seller that he thought Tim was a big brother. He thought Tim was somebody that he could trust. And he told him, he said, people warned me, but they never told me that it was him. And he said, I would go back and I would tell Tim what everybody's saying, and he would tell me that they're telling me right, and you got to be careful, but he was going to make sure that I was safe. And his seller was sitting there listening, and his seller got angrier and angrier as he continued to tell the story, because he was seeing how it happened, even though he was a young dude too, right? He was a little bit more seasoned. You understand what I'm saying, y'all? A little bit more seasoned in the game. So he got pissed for Jack. And he said, and we gonna get it. He said, but I gotta be honest with you. If you really want to get it, and you really, really want our help, he said, you're gonna have to join. And see, that's something Jack hadn't considered. And he really didn't want to do that when he thought about it. But see, he wanted to get his lick back more. That meant more to him than him not wanting to join the gang. So see, he didn't join for the reason a lot of people talk. They didn't have a family and they protected them. No, he wanted them to help him get Tim. He joined for retaliation. He joined for revenge. He wanted his lick back. And now he was finna get put in a position to get it. But again, like I say, he had to join. So he told his seller he brothers and all this and that. And Jack was listening to it, but he wasn't feeling it. But he learned, being back in the hole, that he had to pretend too. He had to pretend to be somebody that he was not to get what he wanted too. So he was learning to put on his other face. And he did. So he laughed along with it, and he was learning the handshake. So his seller went and told the people that were in charge what was up and all this and that, and they had to have him sit down with the heads and explain to them what happened, because everybody had heard about what happened, and they did. And they listened. And they felt bad for him. And they told him the same thing that his seller told him. If you make it through this and you become our brother, we're going to deal with dude. Simple as that. And this excited him. It's made him like, yeah, I'm going to be able to get my lick back. So he goes through it. They jump him in. And they put hands on him. He was a tough little dude. It hurt him. But he took it like a champ. And now he was a gang member. And him and his seller was in there. He was teaching him all the different types of things. You know, he couldn't go to work because they banged him up. You know what I'm saying? So he laid in the cell. They fed him. They looked out for him. They got him health, and they nursing him back, you know what I'm saying, to 100%, right? And Tim, being the, being the veteran that he is in the game, he's seeing the writing on the wall. He said, wait a minute. This dude became a gang member? So he's assuming, like a lot of people, that they don't know what happened to Jack. So he make his way around to one of the heads, right? Thinking he could play up on them, you know, the old convict car, you know? Not knowing that they got pure disdain for him. So he make his way around, you know what I'm saying? And he tells them what's going on and all that. He said, man, you know he's a boy. You know he a boy. Y'all letting boys join now? All this and that, right? So the dude that he was talking to, one of the heads, he was like, now you the boy. And you're talking about my brother. You let that come out your mouth to anybody else about my brother, calling him a boy, you're going to get it before he's ready. And that put Tim on notice right there. It spooked him, scared him to death. Because now he know that his day is coming. He going to have to pay the piper for what he did. He going to have to pay the piper for what he did. He done put this boy in a situation and now he's trying to spread a rumor on him, call him a boy. Now keep in mind, a lot of people might believe that he's a boy. A lot of y'all listening to this show might think he's a boy. But I'm going to tell you why I don't think he's a boy. He wasn't no boy. He didn't want it, and he ain't with it. You understand what I'm saying? He got tricked. He got tricked. And if you say that stuff don't happen, listen to me. I done seen it happen more times than not up in here. I have, man. Whether it be one individual or more, I've seen it happen. You don't call an assault victim a name that makes that person feel like, you don't do that. And I'm not going to do it in this situation. You understand? So check this out. Now Tim on notice, he's spooked. He don't know what to do. His instincts is telling him to run. But penitentiary rules telling him to stay. Like I say, penitentiary rules in effect, and it'll mess you up. I'm telling you, the way you gotta conduct yourself in the penitentiary, it'll have you going against your best interest, I'm telling you. Because his best interest, I'm telling you, once he was told that he's the boy, and then when the day come, he gonna get it, the best thing for him to have done at that moment was to get on down. I'm talking about get a transfer to another prison, change his name, do something to get away. But he couldn't do it. And now he was in a bad situation. He was in a terrible situation. So what do you do? What do you do in a situation like that? What do you do? So now he's in a situation where he's got to figure out a way out of this. Do that. He don't know what he needs to do. But he ain't got a lot of time. Because time is running out for him. Time is running out real fast. If you want to know how this thing turned out, you're going to have to tune in to the next episode, right? Because it's coming. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace, y'all.